Year sound check. Filthy Gaijin Podcast, episode 1.
Yo, this coffee's too fucking dark, son.
Strong coffee is only for the strongest men.
Yes, dark like the way we like our women.
It's better
with
than
absolutely no milk and sugar on them.
Better than my soul.
Fuck, you know that'd be cool. Mm-hmm. If someone like invaded Afghanistan but like forcibly converted back to Buddhism, someone should fund that. And we're back. Filthy Gaijin Podcast, episode 1, part 1. I am El Cid.
I'm Baki and I'm in a keto master.
My name is Shinobu.
Okay, that just leaves the origin story of our name. Why Filthy Gaijin? Well, filthy just because of our personal hygiene, but Gaijin because we are strangers, even strangers in our own land. Everything used to be good, and now things mostly suck. Art sucks, music sucks, society sucks, everyone who isn't us sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? Anime. And we're here to talk about some of those that don't suck. First up, we're going to review My Hero Academia, Season 5, Episode 1 of Filthy Gaijin. Alright, so Season 5, let's talk about what you guys think.
It took a Japanese guy to fucking, make a good American superhero series because these guys suck. They want to make shit like, was it Snowflake and shit like that? Like... Nah, and now they're dying. The industry's dying. They're getting what they deserve.
But like, put it this way: American like comics and shows and Hollywood can't do heroes anymore. These people made villains go through the hero's journey. Like they made you care more about the League of Villains as like people individually than like you care about like any American character in like how many decades.
Nah, America just like cares about if Superman's gay or not now. Like they don't care about him being a hero.
Yeah. No,
nothing. It don't matter.
Diversity for its own sake, which, like, whatever, but no, it's not the important part of the character. Like, they showed that, like, this guy who murdered his own family, spoiler alert, who murdered his own family, or, like, this chick who's, like, a serial killer who drinks the blood of people, like, through a straw, like, they can get you to, like, care about them in these fights, but, like, nah, I don't care about, like, Superman's future son or whatever, retconned.
You got a show like this where pretty much every season, like, there's great villains versus comic books have who's the last great villain? It's the same 5 villains in comic books for the last 80 years. You got Joker.
Yeah.
Loki's not good. He's just kind of eh.
I mean, is there any good Marvel villain?
Yeah, no, it's like nothing really.
Thanos was okay until they friggin' jumped him.
They accidentally made him okay for like one movie, and then that was that. And by the way, Brie Larson is stronger than him in canon, supposedly.
Yes.
Make of that what you will.
That makes sense.
But like DC has better because they got the Batman Rogues Gallery, so they have like the Joker and everything. But like, you gotta have more than one guy. Like, yeah, the Joker's cool, but like, these people every season they call it something.
All for One is basically the greatest villain of all time at this point because that guy is just pure evil and he loves being evil.
No, sir. That's the greatest villain of all time is Gentle Criminal. LaBrava.
So, I forgot about Gentle Criminal.
Yeah. So he's second best. But like, I guess like what in the beginning of the season they give you a little foreshadowing, but then they do the whole thing with Class A versus Class B, and
yeah, it's always fun. Any type of tournament arc is always fun in any anime. They always nail it, which again, Hollywood can't do anymore because they don't like. Oh no! Any type of fighting is wrong. It has to be just everything has to be just lame.
You think they would have learned though with like Harry Potter at least, right? Like they have the 4 houses, so Class A is like Gryffindor, Class B is like I don't know.
Yeah, they had the classic tournament arc in Harry Potter where they had all the battles and the
well that was the different schools, which they did they did that in a previous season of My Hero, right? Like I forget was that two, 3, or 4, but
yeah, they had the other schools come in to compete.
Yeah, but you can do it with other classes too. So like they're trying to use Class B more. Yeah. Which, like, they could probably do more with that because right now it just seems like it's Class A but, like, special ed. But, it's like, these guys weren't as good. But
well, they're clearly setting up, like, some of the characters to be bigger players in the future.
Yeah. Well, okay, so they got the one guy who's, like, Eraserhead's son.
Yeah, for sure he's Eraserhead's son. So.
By the way, pause here. So we haven't read the manga. And some of you out there listening to this might have read the manga. So if you actually know what happens and like we get this wrong and you think you're superior, like no, you're not. Go away. No one likes you.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself, Felix.
All I'm looking at is that guy who does the mind control jutsu. He looks exactly like Eraserhead, so we're gonna assume that's his bastard child.
He looks like him, has like his power kind of, just in its own little different manifestation.
And he weirdly adopted him to give him his little handkerchief.
He uses his little scarf, whatever. So like, we're gonna assume that's him, and if we're wrong about it, again, we don't care. Neither should you. No one likes you. You smell bad. But if we're right about that, we're geniuses, and all the more reason to follow us.
100%.
100%. So like, no, we're judging this anime just by itself. We're not going to contrast it to the manga because again, we haven't read it. But we also think that art should stand by itself. So if you're like most people who watch this and have not read the manga, that's the perspective that we're giving you. So we're going to make a bunch of predictions. Make of them what you will. They're probably right just because we're smart like that. But if they're wrong again, it don't count. So all good for that.
Now, main couple of episodes in this season. Probably episode 2 where they showed the backstory of All for One with his little brother. I think that was episode 2. Yeah, no, just them showing the past One for Alls because they show him, his past, and now he's getting his new powers and no, just showing it was all for One's fault that he created One for All. That was just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a classic. Like he tells him, right? Like you're being a comic book villain, so. A comic book hero is going to rise to beat you. Powerful darkness, powerful light, all that stuff. It's just from All Might's predecessor to present day, as we find out in the series, there's been like 2 generations basically. Like her kid grew up to be married and had multiple kids. Yeah. And now that was clearly when what's his face was 5 years old. Now he's
Shigaraki.
Yeah. So now he's I think 20? They say he's 20 in the show, right? Yeah. Like I see some 20-year-old child or whatever, but nah. And again, we'll get to his arc later, which was just tremendous. But so it's been, I would say, at least probably 30 to 50 years since All Might's predecessor. So add to that a bunch more before her. So
a bunch more, and he killed all of them one by one. Yes. And I think one of the more interesting parts is where Bakugo's like, none of these guys were like really that strong. They were all like regular heroes. No one, he doesn't remember. They weren't famous.
No, yeah, they're like Steve Rogers, right? Like these were not impressive people, but internally, inside, they had something. So, like, the power sort of reveals what was there already.
And then it grew with each one of them as it passed to the next person, and then basically the whole concept of good versus evil.
Yeah, and which is where, like, so getting into, like, this A versus B thing in Eraserhead's, going back to Eraserhead's kid, who's definitely his kid, they're clearly setting this guy up to be very important. And they do this, like, with a few different characters because you have this war arc that's going to come up in season 6, obviously. And so they give him the ability to change his voice and to basically mind control people if he tricks them into answering. It's like, if you're fighting this guy one-on-one, it's a fairly useless power. Just don't talk, even though that might be hard for some people.
But you don't know that.
You don't know that, and if you're in a war situation where it's chaotic and multiple people are fighting and you need to communicate, you need to organize... There you can trick people. And if you have him take control of someone, basically you've created a way to write a bunch of twists into the story. Yeah. Which when you add in some of the people we'll talk about later, it can get, the story can go 50 different ways.
You're going to need those twists because by the end of the season, the heroes are so outmatched.
Yeah.
It doesn't even seem close anymore versus the League of Villains or, the new league, I guess.
No, it's the Meta Human Liberation Army.
Yes. Paranormal.
Paranormal, sorry. Yeah. Metanormal is in the manga. No, bad. Don't say erase. Cut that. But, no, the Paranormal Liberation Army.
Yes.
The PLA.
Yes. Isn't that where kids play basketball? A local PAL?
PAL. I was thinking more like PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, but again, no, we don't want to be banned by the State Department. No, but
so just going back to episode 2, they show All for One just being evil, and basically he just wants goons. He just wants to take over the planet and everyone to just worship him. And his little brother's like, no, like. You don't actually care about, people with powers. You just want them to follow you. Yeah, it's for sure. But again, how many great people in history haven't been like this? Like Alexander didn't conquer the world for some, lofty principles. He conquered it for the glory of Alexander. Yeah, exactly. That's why he's cool. Nah, I think All for One's just misunderstood. He's a great guy.
I think he's the real hero.
Yeah, no. All these people are just terrible.
All Might is just a Westaboo.
Yeah, it's just like in the last season where Overhaul was just like no to the little girl, wasn't it Ari?
Yeah,
he's like no, this is your fault. All these people are dying because it's your fault.
And he was right.
Girl.
Oh, he was so upset. Like all these sickos trying to stop me.
Yeah, exactly. How dare you?
Yeah, they were sickos because like mind your own business. Let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Like, why are you getting in his way? What's your issue?
What was that? Was that football player? I think it was like Julius Peppers when that Mike Vick thing came out about him dogfighting and like torturing, killing those animals. He's like, yo, that's that man business. That's that man property. Don't get involved. Like. It's the same concept.
So look the other way. Let him do his thing.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Like he said, you're all filthy for getting in my way. I'm just trying to bring the Yakuza back and take over the city and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, he like keeps cutting this 4-year-old girl and, to make her bleed, to use these superpowers to make these pills. These bullets that could take powers away from people. Like, what's he doing that's so wrong?
No, obviously you need a way to deal with these people. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, villains.
You have schools that they make child soldiers where like they train up these young heroes since they're like 14.
Yeah,
and they make them lethal, but like they don't teach them good morality. Like what's his name, Bakugo. He's always yelling like "die, murder you."
Yeah, he's not a good person.
He's horrible.
Yeah, he's a little. Stain was right about all these people.
They're all fake. They're all frauds.
None of them are worthy.
Even the so-called good guys, like what's his name, Ingenium or whatever. Like nah. Oh, he's in it to avenge his brother, and he was humiliated by a proper hero who they call the villain.
Yes.
It failed the test entirely, and then had that little fake conversion. But no, as the hero Slayer Stain told him, like, no, you don't change who you are in 1 minute. You're still the same sack of garbage. Like, get out of here.
No, exactly. None of them are worthy. Only All Might's worthy.
Yes, only All Might is worthy.
That's it.
Yes.
And he's dying, so he's gonna be going soon.
Yeah, he has no stomach, and
yeah.
And which I guess, I don't know, is that a metaphor? Like, we've been living in the Pax Americana. Now America is dying, and soon all the world will be left to fend for itself because, this ship is sinking.
Yeah. And is All Might even that great? He failed his sensei's grandchild.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a bit of an L there.
It's a villain now.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an oversight.
Yeah, and they're in their last battle, All Might's trying to kill this guy, All for One, and All for One's like, you're trying to kill me again, B. But look what you failed. You failed this kid.
And then you've been punching him in the face.
Yeah, and you kept beating him up.
That's,
he had a mental meltdown.
No, that was great though, where you're like, no, impossible. And he's like, no, come on, that sounds exactly like what I would do. And it's
No, you would. And he's like, no, I'm evil.
Oh, what? Did the symbol of peace finally stop smiling?
No, I mean, hopefully, they do some kind of flashback or, with that original fight they never showed. But apparently this is when they were old men and weak.
Yeah.
One doesn't have a face, one doesnn't have a stomach.
Yeah.
And it was still an epic fight. Imagine when they were young.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. No,
they had
sure.
Probably had a couple of fights back
At
in
least,
the day.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
you'd figure, but like again, like they do this in other things, other properties too, like Harry Potter. Like you never, I mean, they might try to do one of these movies now, but in the actual series of books and the original movies, you never see Dumbledore's legendary fight with Grindelwald, which everyone said was like the greatest fight in Harry Potter and lasted for hours and all this. It happened off screen. Now he's an old man taking on other people, and it's the same with this. Like this epic character, it's made even more epic by the fact that it's like, no, what you're seeing now is just a shell of his former self. Like he's still better than everyone, but he's a shell.
Yeah.
And same thing with the villain. Like he's still like by far the most powerful villain, but he's nothing. He doesn't have a face.
Doesn't have a face.
Imagine a guy who doesn't have a face.
Yeah. No, even then, when he didn't have a face, when they were trying to save Bakugo and stuff, you could tell Endeavor is there, but none of them have anything for him still. It's just the difference between number 1 and 2 has just always been that big.
Yeah, like you get the top 10 heroes or whatever, and they're all like, there's 2 through 10, and they're all, one might be better than the other, but they're all fairly close. But then like number 1 just way, way, way above.
Same thing in Harry Potter. It was always everyone's fairly strong, but then Dumbledore is just
Voldemort.
So much
yeah, it's like everyone's kind of just they do these things where they yell and they move the wand and they do like a little like air pressure thing at you. You kind of just fall backwards.
Yeah.
And then these other guys that just summon like giant flaming dragons and elements and like,
it's too powerful.
There's levels to thoughts.
Well, that's why My Hero is great because Deku was absolute bitch in episode 1.
Yeah.
But he had heart. And he was a good person, and that's where he gets
internal
strength. Exactly.
He never gave up. He ate that hair, and he got mad.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I think there's like types of witchcraft where like you feed someone your hair, they fall in love with you, and maybe that's what went on.
That 100% be.
Ancient esoteric spells, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about these things. I've said too much already.
But yeah, over the seasons, he's gotten stronger. He doesn't really cry anymore, so there's growth there. He used to cry every episode, but now he's a fairly tough guy now.
Yeah, no, I think literally every episode, right? He used to cry.
Yeah.
He's crying like
instead of crying, now he just breaks an arm or a leg or a couple of fingers.
Well, even that, it's kind of less of that now.
No, he doesn't do that anymore. What he learned to do was like use like 20% of his power instead of he's bouncing around.
No, he still does like that little autism is his superpower full spectrum analysis where he just kind of mumbles to himself.
Well, he's clearly, being the nerd has paid off for him where he's always doing the research. But the new thing is they revealed that he has access to all the former users' powers, individual powers. So he's got the newest Black Whip one.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Again, knowing what we know if you finish the latest season, he's going to need each one of those because it's not looking good.
Yeah.
No, it's not looking too good, B. And also, like, again, cutting ahead a little bit, once you realize the power-up that Shigaraki gets, it's... now it's not just that what he touches.
Yeah.
But it's everything
around it.
If you're touching the thing he's touching, that indirect hit. Basically, if you have to stand on the ground, this guy can kill you.
Yeah.
So what is the power that All Might tells him to work on? It doesn't work on float, like his predecessor.
Yes.
So now he doesn't have to touch the ground.
Yes.
So clearly, this is setting that up.
Yeah, there's a lot of setup.
That's the only way you can fight this guy, because if you don't have flight and you eventually have to land, you're basically dead.
Yes.
So
even if you're All Might, he can't actually. Well, he never flew, so he would get caught in it too.
I feel like they find a way around it. Like he'll do like those little air pressure attacks over and over.
Yeah, he'll do it. Well, All Might's OP, so he would figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Which we'll get into that in a bit, but that's another one of our predictions, by the way. All Might coming back, B. All Might coming back.
Full power, original All Might.
One last time. One more round.
One more round against the big bad guy.
Legends League.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that a bit, but kind of skimming through these Class A versus Class B things, you get, like you said, you get the whip thing, you get the... you see more of these Class B guys. Everyone kind of powers up. They show people's power-ups a little bit. Yeah. People, learning to work together.
Everyone's training.
They're training individuals. Some of these, these wacky heroes that they have to throw in just as filler, like... I don't know, like the little mushroom girl, like bizarre Japanese.
Or the sticky ball guy is annoying. Like,
no, that guy needs to go. Or the frog girl, that's a troll.
It's
they're gimmicky. Yeah,
I feel like that's just for
comic relief or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just for like Comic-Con type of things where people want to dress up as these weird characters because they like them. Or to sell toys or something.
Who's gonna dress up?
Who's gonna buy those toys?
I don't know. Somebody would.
If you put on
people would probably see him and relate to him.
You should put on a list or something like that. Just a ball guy. Like, that's a red flag.
Nah, he's a little freak.
Yeah, for sure, it's creepy.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No, they have a few of those kind of like a few of those characters, some filler. All Might makes a few comments. He feels powerless now, or he wants to help more. Or he has that little skit with the sweets. He's like baking, and none of them pay attention to him. And which is a little messed up. Like this is like the goat, and you guys ignoring him now. And he even mentioned that like when Deco does something good, he doesn't even look back to see if he's looking anymore. Like, So no, they're kind of setting up that Mans needs to get back in the game. He feels a little excluded.
Yeah.
But
and also the whole point of the last season was saving Eri, whose powers are literally rewinding time.
Yeah.
So there's something there. There's a lot of setup here.
Yeah. So she already showed last season that you can use one for all 100%, even if your body isn't ready, so long as she's there to cancel it out.
Yeah.
So that's another way in which, if you need to. I mean, you can do other things with her, which we'll talk about, but Deku can, if necessary, go 100% again, in which case,
he's ready to fight a lot of guys.
Yeah, his power level shoots up near the top of the show.
Yeah. And there's other people like Lemillion, she can bring back his powers.
We don't know that, but we think so. Right?
I mean, it has to be. I mean, it just makes sense because, again, at the end of the season, they're just so overwhelmed with how strong the paranormal league of villains is now. or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, no, for sure. On paper, they're gonna get fucked up. Like,
it's not even close.
They got Gigantomachia or whatever.
They got old.
They got anime Doomsday.
Doomsday. They got all the OP.
Oh, the Black Nomu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus presumably like ones you haven't seen before.
Yeah. And then his main squad just became so much more powerful because of their heroes' journeys.
Yeah, they all went through the heroes' journeys and became cool. And obviously they have like the 100,000 regular people that.
Yes.
Are there
and they do a lot of damage. But just going back to the middle of the season real quick. It basically became the Endeavor arc for a second, where it's all about him and his family. And it was good. You know, Endeavor, especially after last season, it was such a strong ending. Yeah. With him, you want to root for this guy who used to abuse his children.
Which by the way, they kind of allude to that, the ending of last season in the beginning, like episode 1. Like, he did like a little fourth wall break. They're like, yeah, Endeavor, when he just stood there and he put the hand up, that was so cool, right? And it's like, yeah, that's basically like all our reactions sounded like after that last episode.
Oh, it was too cool.
Too cool.
Again, just shitting on Hollywood more. Like you don't root for any of these Marvel characters like that. Like you don't get excited or emotional watching
it's
these
the same
superheroes.
Yeah, I root for the movie to end. I root for for it to be. They're bad, so I just root for it to be so bad that it's enjoyable. It horseshoes around, which I can make a mockery of it as I sit there, like getting progressively drunker as I watch this. Like, with various substances I smuggle into the theater. Going through. So we're at episode 10 now, I think.
The other little story insert they did was foreshadowing, I guess, is Endeavor's dead son. Apparently, that
Oh yes.
So that might be a thing in the future because again, besides abusing some of his kids and his wife, and driving her crazy into a mental asylum.
I mean,
one of his sons is dead.
Yeah,
you don't know his reason.
Yeah,
like,
that's facts. I'm
they act
judging
like he's
right
the
now.
bad guy, and I'm like, he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah,
he has a strong son now. Good
like at the end of the day, like you don't know what it was like. Did she have like borderline personality disorder? I don't know. She increasingly comedy.
Maybe she didn't make the sandwich when he asked.
The cooking was bad. She was nagging too much. I don't know. Yeah. I wasn't there. Neither were you.
That's facts.
And again, the things that happen behind closed doors, they should stay there. And, I'm very much against family court. I'm just saying.
Who are we to
also, cancel culture is bad. So let's not cancel.
Let's not cancel him. Let's no word.
Let's give him a chance.
Word. No, I see you listening to us. You people that are like, no, these murderers, they should get a second shot and get like scholarships to college and like tickets to the sports ball game. No, I'm sorry. If you're gonna say that, you can't judge Endeavor, the number one hero.
Yes.
How dare you? He protects you while you sleep.
There
Disgusting.
You go. That's facts.
No, unacceptable.
But I'm curious to see if his son is, who we think it is. And, obviously everyone, there's a bunch of people on the show who have fire powers, and then there's one villain
that has fire powers.
And he really hates Endeavor.
And they brought this up, okay, so in literature, there's this thing called Chekhov's gun, right? It's a little fancy plot device they teach you about by the Russian author Chekhov, which basically states, if you're reading a book, and you walk in, like the book is telling you, such and such walked into the living room, and there was a big rifle displayed over the wall. The only point of including that detail should be if the rifle is at some point relevant to the story. I think like the actual phrase, like if there's a gun on the wall, chapter 1, it has to go off before the end of the book or something like that. So it's the same with this. Like it's a weird detail to include, unless there's a lot more to that story. So what else could there be to that story? Oh, did his son harm himself or something? Well, I mean, yeah, you could do that. That would be sad. But I feel like they've already established that he was not a good father and was abusive towards his kids. So you're not really adding much there. Did his son die in battle? Was he unable to protect him? Again, you could do that, but what does that really get you? Now, did his son become a villain?
I think they alluded to him dying. They said that, though.
They said he's dead, and he was in his little Shinto shrine praying to him. Yeah. But is that a story they run with?
No. Never saw a dead body.
Was it a fake death? And if so, didn't we just learn that out of dead bodies you can make new villains?
Yes, that's definitely a possibility.
And, half his face is messed
up. Or
up.
it's one of those things where they think he's dead and never happened.
Yeah, there's a few things you could do, and again, this guy wasn't the best father, and that's kind of a running theme in this this season. I would say like. You have it with the main villain. You have it with the serial killer girl.
Yes.
It's their parents weren't the best.
Daddy issues.
daddy issues.
I mean, let's keep it real. Deku has it.
Yeah. Where's his dad?
Where's his dad?
Yeah.
Literally, All Might is his new father.
Yes, and he's gonna lose him.
And for Shigaraki, it's 0 for 1. That literally he got adopted by him, and then we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, and it's also like, okay, Deku doesn't have a dad, but he didn't quite have an abusive mother.
No.
Yeah.
The rest of them kind of did in certain ways. So it's like, I mean, literally one of the mothers throws like a pot of boiling water on
the kid's face.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then he hates his dad.
It wasn't his fault. Like, he didn't beat you.
No, it's facts. But you went after him because he was easy, and this is, a thing that happens, and I hope the family court judge took that into account. But
yeah, exactly. Well, there's a reason she went to the asylum, and Endeavor's still around.
I mean, yeah. Did you see that thing that happened with UFC fighter Chuck Liddell? How he was arrested for domestic abuse, quote unquote, alleged.
I heard about it.
Did you hear he was released?
Yeah, I heard about that.
I heard about that too.
Because it was the wife who hit him.
I mean, I'm not shocked.
Okay, so I'm just saying.
So
maybe these things happen.
So maybe Endeavor never did anything.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I mean, did we ever see him do anything?
I didn't. See him.
We get a couple of flashbacks of him calling them like worthless and smacking them and weaklings and all that. But
And
bro. Okay, but like
facts.
this is Tuesday.
Yes.
In a certain immigrant, high achieving families. This is Tuesday.
Sometimes you gotta smack your wife. It's okay.
Comedy podcast, not advocating. Oh boy.
But yeah, moving on. They do that little foreshadowing with Dobby. No relation to any Harry Potter characters.
I mean, that would have been better if it was actually Dobby. It's a free Elsa. But no, that would have been like he just shows up wearing his little pillowcase shirt. I'm here.
Oh man.
I mean, they've already taken a lot from Harry Potter. Why not a little bit more?
Yeah, why not?
A lot of anime does, Sorry, but it's true. Okay, so we get to episode 12. Okay, yeah, Deku has the thing. The whip comes out. They figure out a way to save him. They just hypnotize him. Uraraka jumps on him, because the power of Rav. But you have to hypnotize him. In the end, brings him down. The day is saved. We get the backstory. Episode 12. They try to figure out more about the power. Bakugo tries to kill him a few times, but it doesn't work. The only thing that works is, him doing his little thing where he can only shoot
I kind of like that, though, with Bakugo. He's kind of in their little squad now with All Might.
Yes.
Where he's kind of the main training partner, which is, again, My Hero does that so well. They always subvert your expectations where they think, Bakugo's going to hate this guy forever. He still hates him, but they're more like, regular rivals now.
Did we ever get to why he hates him?
They kind of showed in season 1 where
I think it's because he surpassed him.
But did he start hating him when Bakugo got a quirk? Deku didn't have a quirk, and they were friends, and then for some reason Bakugo started hating him.
No, he's like, I'm better than you, so then he stopped hanging out with him or something like that.
Or it was one of those things where Bakugo got these crazy powers at like 4 years old. Deku would always follow him around still, just thinking we're still friends. And Bakugo was like, nah, we can't be friends anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I'm too cool for you.
I'm too cool for you. And then he would always still be nice, like, no, it's okay.
Okay. That's kind of another theme that they bring up, which it's going to apply to certain characters later. One of the characters says basically directly to the audience that no, it's your nature sort of becomes according to the power of your quirk. So if your quirk is explosions, you might develop an explosive temper, or you might be just a volatile person. If your quirk is to take others' powers, you might become the most selfish person.
Yes.
If your quirk is to give a power, you might become the most selfless person.
Yeah.
If your quirk involves drinking blood, you may become a serial killer.
Yes.
So these are the things that go in. If your quirk is everything you touch dies, yes, you might have some issues that require some counseling and may not be fixable.
Yeah, no, you may actually have to be adopted by, Lord Voldemort himself.
Yeah.
No parent-teacher conference for that guy.
No high fives. No high fives.
No, and then, I kind of like that now that they're training together, and it's just cool.
Yeah. So then they do like the little Christmas time episode. They save people.
Yeah, those are the worst episodes.
Oh no, that was
those filler episodes where they're having the house parties.
That Christmas one was probably the worst of the.
Okay, but then let me ask you though, why in the Harry Potter movies, whenever it's a holiday, it's cool?
Because it's such a small part. It's always a 5-minute
This
thing.
is Japan. There shouldn't be Christmas. It's fucking weird. It doesn't work. They don't celebrate
Bro,
it.
there's Christmas everywhere.
Nah,
it's not a religious thing anymore.
They
Kids
get
love Christmas.
KFC when they celebrate it. It's so fucking weird.
You know, they put on the little costumes and everything.
You know what it is?
It's fan service.
My Hero gets to such high highs when they just completely just get off the pedal and do Christmas episodes. You're just kind of bored. You're just bored.
Okay, but do they need...
No, it's filler. It's basically filler.
Okay, but do they need to give you some of this to just cool it down a little bit?
They need their fillers because every season's 25 episodes. They got to fill in some bullshit in there.
I mean, basically, they kind of... It's so successful, they wanted to take up half the year. So, yeah, if you have to do stories for half the year, what are you going to...
Yeah, that's a good point.
What are you going to talk about? Like, with a lot of these, like, yeah, if you really wanted to, you could probably take a season and turn it into, like, a good movie. But, like...
For sure.
For sure, like, and basically other animes like Demon Slayer basically did that with their movie, but
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you could definitely do it with this too, but again, you know, it is what it is. But episode 14, titled "Off to Endeavor's Agency."
They all start training under Endeavor basically, and he basically tells them they got to get better at everything.
No. First, he tells them like, "No, you are not my son." That's what he tells them.
That's true. He does say that. Oh man.
And it's just like, you know, this guy has his issues, you know. But,
yeah.
Bro, he didn't want to be the father to his own sons. Like,
Yeah,
he wants to be your father.
Well, now he's trying to, and then obviously, you know, towards the end of their training, where they have dinner because his daughter invites all of them over.
By the way, the daughter was flirting with Deku.
Yes,
A little bit.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
They did the red cheeks thing,
Yes.
which you know you can see it.
Well, Deku's becoming the man.
Well, they've given him like 3 love interests so far. You've got her,
Yeah.
Uraraka,
Yes.
and the vampire serial killer girl.
Yes.
They're all very into it.
He's got a harem now.
He's got a harem.
Yeah.
He's Tenchi Muyo. You know?
Oh yeah. Tenchu GXP.
Yeah. So no, for sure they can go that route, and I'm sure if you go into the forums, which I never would, like, there's probably a bunch of you sickos listening now who have like these little shipper threads and everything, right?
Yeah.
That you pick out your waifus and you ship them together, and
No, these people are sick. They'll ship fucking Deku and
all for one, like
Yeah. No, I was gonna say Bakugo, but no, that's even better.
No, they'll be like, yo,
These sick fucks.
they'll be like Uraraka and Gigantomachia.
Yeah. Yo, the bigger the better.
No.
This fandom is known for that sick shit, and they need to knock it off. It's like, oh, you're making us anime fans look bad. Like, what is this sick shit you're doing?
They're like, nah, Lolly's the cutest.
Oh, nah. We can't even get to that. We've said too much. But so yeah, then Endeavor has his little thing. You know, he's got his agency. You know, apparently he's a very rich man.
Well, his agency is the biggest, so you know they're making all the money.
Which again, like what the hero killer said though, like, nah, you guys in it for the money. What is this? I don't like my heroes to have like corporate offices. Like, what is this?
Yeah, no, they're printing money.
No, I like the Night Eye Detective Agency much better.
There you go.
He had like 3 people.
Oh, it was literally yes.
Which, by the way, they would cancel. Was he like tickle torturing one of his female?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Nine was a proper pervert.
Yeah.
Japan, bro.
He died for his sins. So
Yeah, bro, Japan. What happened to you that you went from this to like that guy resigning in the Olympics just because he said some things that may or may not be true?
Yeah, what happened?
I mean, those were definitely true.
Yeah,
Yo, but quick fun
comedy
fact.
podcast, not endorsing.
Quick fun fact: La Brava was actually 21 and not fucking 6.
Yes.
And
did they make you like 4'0" though?
Yeah, you know, she's like 3 feet tall. She's like 21, and Gentle Criminal was 32. So you know, not bad.
Gentle Criminal looked 45.
Yeah, he looked about 45. She looks about 8, but you know. It's legal.
So Gentle Criminal is like the typical nah, let me not make that joke. Anyway,
better not say
that. Let me not make that joke. So where were we? Oh yeah, like episode 14. Yeah, sidekicks making money. So Hawks beats Endeavor. And he's like, okay, this guy has like 80 IQ points. He's a big meathead. How do I tell him something without being monitored?
Being tailed everywhere.
So he's like, yo, this book you should really read the sections I highlighted.
And he's like, yo, he's trying to tell me something. But what is it, though?
I can't decide.
He's like, does he want me to read the book?
He knows I don't read.
And then Endeavor spent half the episode trying to figure out if you should read or not. Oh, and then he spends the other half reading and then figuring out what he's trying to tell him.
Yo, I know for sure. It's just, you see him straining all three of his brain cells.
For sure, he's like, reading? Why?
What is reading?
He probably hasn't read in like 15 years.
Yeah.
No, but that basically leads off into, all their training. Basically, the whole reason they're doing all this training is because, again, someone from the higher ups was like, we got to get these kids ready for battle, for real world war.
No. So someone from the higher ups is like, all right, we just got a report. Check this out. The League of Villains. Okay. The Men of Liberation. Okay. They have 100,000 people. Oh snap! Better give each hero like 2 intern teenagers.
They did some quick maths right there.
We got like 30 students total. If we just spread them out around the city.
So, by the way, only like 3 of them are any good.
The rest suck.
The rest are just freaks who belong on a sideshow.
No, that's what I never got about the show, though. Class A is literally, you got Deku, you got Todoroki, you got Bakugo, and I guess the little, the pelican phase, the eagle phase guy is fairly strong.
Yeah.
The rest of them,
Pelican or whatever.
Tsukuyomi, whatever.
Tsukuyomi, whatever. It's like, the rest of them are so ass. Like,
yeah.
how are they going to fight anybody?
Well, even though, okay, I have a theory about this. So you might say that they're weak. You might say that they're useless. But some of them are more powerful than you think. You think some of these heroes are weak, but really, is it that, or is it that they're just kind of like goodies? Like, take Uraraka, right? This is like what you might think is a useless character.
Yes.
She's really only good for like, the rocks are falling on civilians. Touch the rocks so they don't crush them. But then when Vampire Girl takes her power after she levels up, which we'll get into, she uses it to raise everyone like 500 feet in the air, and she just slaughters like 50 people.
Yes.
It's like, no, a person like with this power, if they had ill intentions and were like aggressive and ruthless, no, you could be devastated.
Yeah, no, she has a strong ass power. She's
Yes.
just soft. Like, she doesn't have what it takes to really use it.
Like, no, you ever seen like those science fiction scenarios where they're like, if you could just elevate a really heavy piece of metal and then drop it from like near space, you could be like a nuke?
Yes.
She could definitely do something like that.
Oh, yeah.
She could definitely do that with the giant rock and just take it all
Drop
the
a
way
whole
to
building on someone.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
So if she had an ounce of aggression in her, she
Which
could
she
be
doesn't.
dangerous. No, which she doesn't. She's
Never will, probably.
I mean,
never will.
Maybe that's something they're
Gonna build
they
up, maybe?
to. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe, but then again, if you have, let's say, a certain other character that can take her power. Anyway, keep that in the back of your head. This may be relevant later. After Endeavor learns this and he deciphers the inch-high hurdle of a code, he's like, okay, I will actually stop being an ass to like these kids and like teach them stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, here's what I'm going to teach you. Try to keep up with me. And they just have to run after him for like a week, and that makes them power up.
He basically does cardio.
Yeah.
He's like, if you run every day, you'll get better at everything.
They do a thing where like he like sprints off to stop things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah.
And like they're not. I don't think they're actually claiming he has psychic powers. It's like, I know my city that well.
Oh my god, that's so true though.
Oh boy. Then you get episode 16, a filler episode with like that walrus and the frog girl and everything.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Next.
I skipped that shit.
Next. Episode 17, the hellish Todoroki family, or as the Japanese version says, Jiguko no Todoroki Kunchi.
Bro, this might be a good segue. Just talk about the dub is better for the show.
The sub is weak. Like it's weak for a sub. It's like
obviously sub is it's pretty good. There's certain shows like Dragon Ball Z where the sub is just
awful.
Except Vegeta, you're great.
The sub. The sub for Dragon Ball Z. I like Frieza.
No, Frieza. Except for Frieza,
the only good part of the Dragon Ball Z sub.
Yeah.
But My Hero's an example where
the dub is better.
Even
though pound for pound, it's
better.
So
okay, so my rule of thumb with this, because I go back a few decades, was initially everyone always used to say that the sub is much better, and if you like dub, you're basically like a subhuman and you shouldn't be listened to. But like maybe back then this was more true with like anime wasn't as big.
The 90s, the early 2000s.
Yeah, but now like
I'd say like
for all the big animes, or at least the animes that I watch, and others watch, the ones that have crossover appeal, they get really good voice actors and it's pretty good. Like,
yeah, I'd say from like 2004 and onwards, they're pretty solid.
they're very solid. And like, I think I saw like when Attack on Titan season 1 came out, one of those fan sites actually like committed blasphemy, and they were like, "Oh no, I think the Attack on Titan dub is actually better than the sub," which apparently that upset people back then. But again, I prefer the dub for these reasons. Like, it's just really good voice acting, and I think with this, it just helps to be able to hear this stuff. And again, it's a lot of the same actors from other shows, so if you're fans of that, you'll be fans of this.
Also, probably the best point with dub is you're not looking, on the bottom of the screen and trying to read the whole time. You get to appreciate the fight scenes and the art.
Yeah, no,
especially their story too.
No, and the even better part of the dub is when I'm bored and I want to go on my phone and check various websites, I don't have to look at the screen and I can still listen to what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So no, that points for dub. Dub 1-0 over sub. Sorry. So let's see. Okay, so. After they do their little 1 week training program where they try to catch Endeavor, he's like, "You'll come over to my family's house."
Basically, high level tag.
Yeah, they're playing a game of high level tag, and they still haven't caught him, by the way. So they go in, they go to his house. They meet Endeavor's daughter, who Kawaii, and she likes Deku,
of course,
and because that's what you do. Because again. One thing they got right that they didn't steal from Harry Potter that they fixed was that the girls should like the main guy.
Yeah, the alpha.
You're not supposed to like his sidekick, J.K. Rowling. I'm sorry.
Awful writing. Get canceled again.
Yeah.
that was just J.K. Rowling being like, "Nah, but I like redheads."
Yeah, no, she kind of admitted that. She basically admitted that.
Yeah.
We'll go into that when we do our Harry Potter stuff, but she basically admitted that. So yeah. Free J.K. Rowling from the things they're currently canceling her about, because that's nonsense. But then cancel her again for this. Unforgivable. Oh, boy. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, they... Todoroki takes advice from Bakugo and Deku about, his family. Like, they wouldn't know anything. They're children, bro. They don't know anything.
They're like 14 years old.
Yeah, they're just as dumb as you are. Oh,
man, you're gonna get advice from a 14-year-old for anything.
Especially from Bakugo.
Bakugo's basically an animal.
Yeah.
He's screaming half the time, yeah.
Yeah, no, he should be wearing a pig mask and walking around with Ben Sword. Oh, sorry, wrong anime.
Half his dialogue is idiot.
Murder you! I wonder, when his voice actor got hired, the notes, you never stop screaming. Oh, boy. Episode 18, The Unforgiven. Okay, that's when they go into the whole backstory of their boy.
Now we get to the meat of...
It starts picking up from here. So, okay, so it's taken you 18 episodes to get to... Outside of 5 minutes in episode 2, 10 episodes, it's taken you 18 episodes to get back to the story. And Endeavor, decides to be a good person again. This arc is still going. Yeah. And then, oh boy, episode 19. More of a hero than anyone. Class 1A celebrates. Okay, Zao and President Mike, they get all this information. We already discussed about it. Their boy was dead. They brought him back. They could kind of talk to him for a little bit, but nah, it doesn't break through. But he's still in there somewhere. Briefly, it looks like, because the brainwaves reverse, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, they brought that back. We discussed this already. If they can do this, they can do a lot of things. Whether they will, I don't know. But again, why bring it up if it's not going to be relevant? Clearly, this can't be the only guy that they know that becomes a villain.
Yeah, no. So, there's got to be a lot of them.
Yeah, there'd be no point in bringing that up. Episode 20. My Villain Academia. Again, Japanese title, Boku no Villain Academia. So, okay, here's where we get Gigantomachia. Your thoughts on Gigantomachia?
Just brilliant, genius character.
Yeah, it's very deep.
Very deep character. The man literally sleeps in the woods, under a mountain or something.
Then he comes out and just, beats up these teenage kids.
Yeah, for the whole point is basically Shigaraki for the last couple of seasons has basically been getting beat up and abused by all the heroes.
Yeah.
Just losing, just L. He just takes L's.
Left and right.
And he's just like this little creep with hands all over him, and he always loses. And then
who sounds like Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yes. So basically, All for One's, Alfred, basically this mad scientist, is like, nah, I have this ultimate weapon, that, our sensei, All for One's like, nah, you got to give to Shigaraki, B. But problem is, you got to earn it. So that thing's got to, accept you as, All for One.
As your master.
Yeah,
as its master.
As his master, the successor. So they got to go over there and then fight this thing to beat it. And apparently they fight it for months and they don't win.
Yeah, so I think the actual episode description is a month and a half later. They do actually, so it's 6 weeks of fighting this thing.
Yeah.
They've made zero progress.
Yeah.
I guess they've gotten a little stronger as far as training montage, but they basically haven't been able to make a dent in this
and
thing.
for sure, Gigantic Makia is not allowed to kill them. That's probably, part of the instructions, right? No, you can't kill them.
Yeah,
because it will just be so easy for that thing.
Again, this is kind of like in Pokemon. Unless you have certain gym badges, Pokemon of a certain level won't respect you.
Yes.
They just ignore you in battle. He's basically a giant Snorlax that's refusing to obey.
Yeah.
And a key note here for the plot is that they make it clear that he obeys recordings of All for One's voice.
Yes.
Which, again, this is inherently funny, but...
well, he's basically, he's basically a Pokemon.
Yeah. Even beyond that, though, again, things have been dropped into the plot already that, these are good writers doing this, so there's a reason they're dropping this in. Why is it relevant that he listens to All for One's voice? Well, we have a character who can imitate voices. Not only that, who can just basically mind control them if the person responds.
Yes.
So already, you could see what you could do with something like that, right? He's too devastating to deal with. All of a sudden, he hears what he thinks is All for One's voice, and in season 6, in this war arc, he can be flipped on the other side. Maybe that's one way that the heroes can try to even the odds a little bit.
Even the odds, yeah, because it's not looking good.
Yeah. So.
So basically, after those 6 weeks, they pretty much just tap out. They're like, all right, we can't beat this guy.
No. They haven't tapped out yet. They get a phone call. They call. They think they're talking to their broker or whatever.
Yes, they got the phone call. Absolutely, the Nigerian prince.
No. His name is Jiren apparently, but no, Nigerian prince. Sure.
Nigerian prince.
They're talking. They think they're gonna call Prince Hakim on how to sell this equipment, and it just didn't work out. But they call him and they're like, he's not here. We kidnapped him and we've mutilated him. What are you gonna do about it? Which that's always in my personal life I found that annoying when that happens.
It's the worst.
So
you really ruined my weekend. Now I got to go all the way over there to this abandoned city.
Yeah, you got to go into a cartel war and things I don't recommend. But
you got to go to Juarez.
Yeah, Anime Deadpool is basically very alarmed about this, and he's very sad that the guy's been captured. He's being tortured. By the MLA, the Meta Liberation Army, or Modern Language Association, whichever. If you've ever had to do a footnotes for a paper, whatever. Don't miss them, B. Don't miss them at all. I also agree they're an evil organization. And he invites them to this city that's not Tokyo, so they can fight without it being impacting the rest of the plot. They can have a big fight in another city.
Absolutely.
And so Shigaraki accepts. He goes there and he comes up with an idea. The idea is basically, all right, we can't do anything to giant Doomsday guy, but they claim to have 100,000 people. So let's have all of them fight him.
And then die.
And then
we take over. That's it.
Then we jump in when this guy's at 2 HP and declare ourselves, the boss.
Yes.
So they go and they get ambushed and they start taking L's immediately. Toga, a.k.a. Vampire Girl, a.k.a. Serial Killer Girl, is surrounded by a news reporter called Curious. Which, by the way, the way they portray the news media in this thing with that character, it's
these people are leeches.
You guys are leeches. You're all sadistic. You just want to see the world burn.
Yes.
You add no value. Fake news.
Media people are the worst people.
But it's refreshing because
they're villains, basically.
They're villains. They're the real villains. But in most, at least let's say Western, Hollywood depictions and everything, the media people are always the most intrepid, courageous, honest, incorruptible, speak truth to power. No, I'm not going to bury that story. I'm going to risk my own life to expose you, you corrupt corporation, and, fairy tales.
Yes,
and
unless it's Epstein.
Yeah, he didn't kill himself.
No, he did not.
He's still alive somewhere.
Allegedly.
Yeah, Epstein, it took him 20 years to get to that.
He's on somewhere safe. With more kids.
I actually know where he is. And if you listen to the end of this episode, subscribe. I'll tell you next episode. But I know where he is.
Subscribe and comment first.
So subscribe, comment, and share. This needs to go viral. If it does, don't worry. I'll know and I'll tell you where he is.
100,000 views though.
Make sure to like.
Yeah, 100,000 likes on this video gets you your Epstein's location. So, I would never lie to you. Of course.
Never.
Not one bit.
That's how much his life is worth.
Yes. He's worth 100,000 likes. I was thinking, hold out for 1 million likes. Not important enough, just 100,000 likes. Oh boy. So the reporter goes in and she starts doing like basically like a false flag terrorist attack on the poor girl. Like all these bombs she planted, she's just bombing this poor little girl over and over. And then again, it's like, okay, no, this character, Toga, she's probably one of the worst people in the series. Like, she literally is a serial killer who drinks blood.
Yes.
But like, nah, they made me feel like, no, that's messed up. Stop doing that to her. And it's like, why? Why is that? Well, they go into it. It's not that she's evil in some kind of like conscience sense.
Yeah.
Like, no, they reveal she thinks she's totally normal.
Yes. Which is like strangely comforting in that sense.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I kind of get her better now. Like, this reporter's always asking, why are you this way? Does your family hate you? When did you realize you're the worst thing ever? And it's like, nah. She's like, my whole life, like, nah, I've always thought I'm normal.
Yeah, she's like, I'm totally normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, as they mentioned, you become kind of like what your quirk is like. So if you have a quirk that requires blood and you have no help, no guidance, her family just kind of told her, just be normal. But clearly that ain't enough, B. Like,
No.
She started off like every serial killer drinking like, animal blood and eating like small animals.
Yeah.
And then, that thing with the classmate, which I granted, it's not too good. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, just
don't do
sticking
that.
a straw in their neck like
don't
that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But again, maybe she would have gotten some help earlier. It changes it. So yes, no, you should definitely stop such a person. But the gratuitous violence and these narratives and everything, it's like, no, you can't explain this with your usual media stories, and you're just trying to make this whole situation worse because you are, again, a parasite, and you are the true villains of the history, this story. And so no, she manages to escape, and then we get, as we discussed before, she levels up. So she levels up, as happens to most of these guys throughout this season. They level up, so now she can't just copy an appearance, which before kind of made her low level. Like, yeah, she's basically like a low level assassin before.
She was basically like a spy. She could sneak into places.
A spy or an assassin, like if she got close to you, she could stab you.
Yeah.
But now she can copy your quirk, which that's much more dangerous.
Yes.
So as we talked about, she copies Uraraka's quirk, which is normally not that big of a deal. But because she's a villain with no mercy, she just executes, like 50 people. And as they showed, she's got a little belt. Now, granted, this was her last vial of blood, they point out. But if she stores up enough blood
of different
powers from different heroes from different situations,
she's very strong.
Very strong. She can basically become whoever she needs to be to win at that moment of the battle. So all of a sudden, you just transform like one of the weaker characters into like one of the most powerful characters.
Yeah, and didn't show how maybe she only can get like 50% of their true power, but again, that's enough.
It's enough because she uses it better.
Better, yes.
She has no mercy. So again, it's who wants it more. Like, all right, yeah, you're very tough and very skilled, but you're not trying to hurt me. Whereas I'm not that tough, not that skilled, but I'm willing to kill you. So which one of us is more dangerous?
Doesn't take that much.
No. Human beings are very fragile. So yeah, so she executes all these people. Cut to that, she kind of goes into the little thing. It's implied that she's gonna die, but
she's bleeding out.
But I think most people kind of figured like they'd find a way, right? They didn't level her up for no reason.
Yes.
And again, like we were saying, think of some of the combinations you have now. You have a mind control guy who can change his voice and be anyone, and if he does that, he can control anyone. You have a girl who can copy anyone's power. You have a character in Eerie who can heal everyone and reverse power.
Rewind time, essentially, by touching you. So
there's already so many ways you can go with this plot, but again, we're going to get even more of that in a second. Shigaraki comes in, his quirk is evolved, he's squad wiping this entire army because he can basically like...
Yeah, they insinuate he's really been training hard. He's just more athletic and just stronger than ever. Dabi takes over and starts fighting the ice guy.
That guy's pretty strong, though.
That guy
didn't actually beat him.
They insinuate him and Dabi are like having a fairly
Dabi fights the ice guy, but this is the transition after he's just killing everyone. It's like he's being attacked by groups of 20, and it's like one hit smacking, killing
people. Yeah, easy.
Which is, that's pretty OP.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends with Twice, a.k.a. Anime Deadpool, finding Toga, a.k.a. Vampire Girl, dead and about to be killed. Not dead, but near death and about to be killed. which leads to episode 22, one of my favorite. Sad Man's Parade. Japanese description.
Such a good episode.
Sadumanzu Beredu. So this is great because twice this has been such a worthless character for so long, but they explain why.
No, he was such an interesting character. First time I saw him, I'm like, okay, this character design, he must be so strong.
Yeah.
And then you get over the seasons, you find out he's just
an idiot,
an insane schizophrenic retard.
Yeah.
Like he's so weak.
He's like Deadpool without
without the powers.
Yeah, just kind of why are you here?
Yeah, he's not even good. He doesn't do anything.
But then he ends up being better than like the actual Deadpool character.
Well, no, this is his ultimate attack. This is one of the coolest powers ever. But
his backstory alone and the voice actor, whoever did, is so good.
Oh yeah.
This episode was so good.
Okay, so let's get into that. His backstory is that he went insane because he saw all these versions of himself kill each other while he was tied to a chair.
Yes. And he wasn't sure if he who was left was the real version or
clone.
the clone. And their clone, if they break a bone, they just disappear.
Yes.
So he all these seasons was avoiding getting hurt because he wasn't sure who he really was.
He couldn't take any impact because he was worried the slightest impact he might go poof and turn back into clay.
Yes, that's exactly it. So, and that's why it was so freaking cool when the villains gang up on him by using
they messed up.
They use I guess what was it, like robots that look like him, right?
Yes.
To attack them.
Yeah, little puppets from a guy named Skeptic.
Yeah. So they really messed up by breaking his arms or one of his arms.
Yeah, so they had him restrained. So again, typical proper old school comic book villain stuff. They're making him watch as they're very slowly twisting the girl's neck. They can't just use a weapon. No. They gotta slowly twist it so he feels that. And as they're restraining him, they're making him watch.
Yeah.
They break his arms and they're like, "Yo, we just got him. We broke his arms." But no, you broke his arms, and now this guy realizes he didn't die after you broke his arms. Oh, he's the real one.
He's the real one.
He has nothing to fear from you anymore.
100%. And oftentimes in a lot of shows, right? Characters will get plot armor and get super strong for no reason. But no, this makes sense. He's been weak all this time, not because he's weak, but because he has
mentally weak.
He has the twisties.
Yeah, he has mental health.
He has mental
disease.
But unlike certain other people with the twisties, whom we won't name, he didn't quit.
He didn't quit. When the time to compete came.
Quitting's not the thing to do. So no, they break his arms. He realizes that ain't it. He fights his way out, and then he uses probably the best attack ever, the Sad Man's Parade.
It sounds so cool.
It's so cool. And he can basically multiply into thousands of him.
They say thousands here. It looked like more, honestly.
It looked like more, yeah.
Like a whole city.
He's basically an army unto himself. And obviously, individually, each one of them is not that strong, but it's enough.
But still.
You get swarmed with a couple hundred of those guys jumping on you. What do you do?
You're screwed.
Yeah, so no, he does that. They summon Gigantomachia again. So now the League is starting to flip the battle at this point.
Yeah, and then now the battle is basically getting to the tower to take out the big boss.
Shigaraki shows up. He knocks down the whole tower, which, again, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, no, just going to a big building and just touching the bottom and it all comes down.
Yeah, so then after that ends, after he comes face to face with Redestro, you get probably the best episode of the season and one of the best episodes of all of My Hero. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just a very good anime episode of any anime in general. Yeah. Episode 23, Tenko Shimura, Origin.
I mean,
so
might have been one of the best episodes I've ever seen. Just his origin story.
Yeah, so
crazy.
One of the best villain origin stories.
He flashes back after he gets his hand destroyed and he's looking at the hands and all that. And again, so he sees all that and he flashes back and there's a reason all for one left in those hands.
Yeah, I mean, which is interesting. He had he didn't remember any of these things until literally this moment.
Yeah, you could see why he would block that out.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You see why he would block that out. And so basically, again, spoiler alert, but if you've made it this far, it's too late. And so he, as they explained in the previous season, is the grandson of All Might's predecessor. And so there's some issues there because as they show in the episode, she abandons her family. She's like, look, it's too dangerous. There's things I got to do. I got to keep you safe. Sorry, I can't be a good mother to you. Peace. And she leaves her son.
Yeah.
And that guy never got over that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, she wasn't going to leave forever. She thought she was going to go fight this villain and come home.
Yeah, for a few weeks.
Yeah, but she never made it home.
She never made it
like,
home.
Like, they don't say it, but very clearly that's all for one.
That's all for one. He kills her. And then this kid who, has mommy issues, he never lets it go. So years later, he becomes a very successful businessman, buys this big house, moves in his in-laws as well.
Yeah.
He wants to have this big family. So he's got a daughter and his this young son who wants to be a hero, just like All Might.
Yeah, but he is not about that life at all. So he starts beating and yelling and screaming and just absolutely repressing this in this kid. And he doesn't even tell him why. So it's like, it's repression, it's violence, but it's even worse, it's senseless violence for this guy. So he's just being abused and he doesn't understand why because he doesn't even know that his grandmother was this great hero.
Yeah. And because, this guy is a very successful, wealthy man, the mother and then the in-laws, the grandparents, they don't say anything because, they feel like, there's a power dynamic there. It's his house, his rules.
His house, his way, it's a very traditional society.
He's the bread maker.
He's the breadwinner, he's the patriarch. So, it's no one's really interfering. They're like, you could tell they're not exactly down with it, but there's this idea too, which I guess in the moral dilemma of it, which he kind of refers to, it's kind of complicity. Like, okay, you guys didn't directly abuse me, but why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you do something?
You should have done something.
You should have done something. So that's why, again, it's painting like these are, obviously, it's, what happens to them is pretty sad, but are they entirely innocent? In a way, no, right? Like,
well, it's interesting because right till, their deaths, they were about to do something. They did do something, but it was too late at that point.
Yeah,
they were literally a day too late.
Yeah.
If they did it the day before, things might be different right now.
Yeah.
As we know, it just takes one bad day.
One bad day, because madness is like gravity.
Yep.
Little push. And and then you get his sister, who, again, the true villain of this anime.
The true little snitch.
Yeah,
little snitch.
No, not a snitch, because a snitch tells the truth. Like, she made up about it.
Little snake in the grass.
Yeah, so she made up that, he did this and he did this. He found the picture and he told me and all this. So, the father abuses him even more. And that just, that was the final straw. Like, he's there. He's at his lowest point. He's crying his eyes out. He's confused. His sister's betrayed him. No one stepped in to help him. His father has beaten him more than he's ever been beaten. Oh, so then he's got one friend left in the world who comes to him, his dog. Yes. His dog who's, he's truly loyal. Any of you have a dog out there, dogs are loyal. So yes. At least he's got this one thing left. His life isn't totally ruined. He's got him.
He's giving his dog a hug and he's squeezing and, he's got his hands on him.
And he murders the dog.
Yes. His powers activate. He accidentally kills his dog and there's blood everywhere.
He kills the only person in the world who, ever been, completely good to him.
Yes. Complete accident. He didn't intend that at all. His powers just activated. He didn't know.
The bitch sister comes out. She's like, what did you do?
She's like, I'm going to go snitch
time. He was just very scared. Okay, to be fair, she sees a pile of blood and the dog is dead. So she's scared. He's scared. He doesn't want to get beaten anymore, so he's just like, wait. He reaches out.
Yeah, he reaches out to stop her because he thinks there's a villain attacking. That's what happened. He doesn't know he did it himself.
Yes.
He touches her. She disappears as well. At this point, he sees his mom and his grandparents, and that's when now things get a little.
It's ambiguous at this point. With the mother and the grandparents, it's definitely ambiguous. You're not quite sure. He's not quite sure. He is. Does he know if he's hallucinating or not? Does he know exactly how it works? But again, maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't. It's ambiguous. They don't tell you. But then the father comes, and he says it, and based on how they show it, it's pretty clear the father was on purpose.
Yeah. No, he went right for the head.
Yeah, he murdered him.
He murdered him, and he liked it. He said there was,
Well, he said for the first time he wasn't itchy.
He wasn't itchy anymore.
He was having those psychosomatic symptoms where he was just repressing this so much that he was scratching himself over and over.
So that's again, it's really interesting. Your quirk determines a lot of who you are. Yes. And he likes to destroy things, and he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah. So he got that out, and now you've reached a point that there's no coming back from this. You've murdered your whole family. Yes.
Destroyed the house too, because
there's too much to fix. This is unfixable. And he goes down a path which you can't really repair. And
he's basically homeless on the street. Everyone's avoiding him because, again, you walk past someone like that on the street, even if it's a kid, you look at their face, you're like, no.
You sense the vibe.
You sense the there's that chakra or whatever
like
you
dark
want to
energy.
call it.
People have good instincts. Like most of the time, if you see someone and you're weirded out by them, you have a good reason to be, and it's people sense that. It's not even their fault from a certain perspective. No. But on the other hand, the way he's viewing it is like, yo, I'm a kid and no one's helping me. Yes. No one left.
Yes. And then along comes he's literally sitting on the pavement. And there's, the true hero of the story shows up, and he's like, "Don't worry, I am here," and then adopts him.
Powerful inversion. All for One, he adopts him. This guy from this background. All Might adopts Deku from a similar background. Like the parallel is there.
Yes.
Deku, who also was kind of like a quirkless wimp who wanted to be a hero.
Yes. But
he wasn't repressed in the same way. He didn't get support, but he wasn't repressed.
And he didn't get abused.
Yeah.
So these things matter.
Yes. We cut to the next episode. And by the way, the episode, this one, briefly, just ends on like one of the best, like most mood appropriate songs of like the anime. It's just like, you really feel it. He kills all of them, and the soundtrack is just on fire.
In general, My Hero's soundtrack is always great.
On point. Episode 24, Tomura Shigaraki origin. So he's no longer that kid. Now he's Shigaraki, and this is his origin.
Yes, because he takes his father's last name.
Yes, takes his last name. He starts winning the fight. He's quickly become so powerful. Even though he's injured, he's walking forward and he's unlocking power levels left and right.
And probably one of my most favorite things now, I'm sure they did it in the sub as well, but in the dub, once he remembers his past, his powers awaken, and his voice goes from the screechy, creepy voice to a more masculine, clear voice.
Yes, because internal change has to reflect external change.
Yeah.
This is the key part of like the hero's journey. It's like it's not just that you got physically stronger, it's that the things and experiences you went through, they change who you are as a person, and now you're better for that.
Yep.
And again, they even say it at a certain point throughout this, like, oh, can villains go through the hero's journey? And the answer is yes.
Yes, of course, clearly.
The answer is yes. All these things, they cut both ways, and they got much stronger. And again, we didn't get like the gigantic battle with the heroes in the season, but that was our battle.
That was the battle, because again, they were the heroes.
The League of Villains were our heroes, and we were rooting for them.
Villains are subjective,
Yeah, and he much more confident, different voice now. I'm not sure if it's the same voice actor, just doing a different voice.
I'm pretty sure it is.
And then his white hair.
We could look that up, I suppose, for the podcast, but that's work, B.
No,
we're not trying to do that.
We don't do that.
We don't Google.
Leave a comment. Let us know, B.
Yeah, we won't read it, but go ahead and leave it. And
He basically, it's not even at once he gets the awakening. I guess it's not even close. Like at this point, he's probably the most powerful character on the show.
Yeah, because like again, anything he touches will kill you.
Yes,
including like the floor. So unless you can fly, like good luck.
Yeah, and then Reed Destro basically turns into like a giant Megazord, and nothing for him.
Nothing. He taps out.
He loses his legs. Gigantomachia's finally gets there.
He bends the knee and cries.
He gets emotional.
He literally cries.
He cries.
Like, the successor.
Because again, the power level just jumped up so fast, and he's too powerful now. The army shows up. They basically, one of his assistants, the politician or whatever, is trying to be like, guys, attack. And then he just looks over and just gives them the death stare. And they're all like, nah, B, we don't want to smoke.
Yeah. To a typical politician.
Yeah, right. And then...
then at the very end of the episode, the doctor, the scientist guy who... I'm not even... He kind of looks like... Was he one of the... Has he been a recurring character? Was he was in the first one?
He's been around for a couple seasons. They show him very briefly throughout the season.
Wasn't he the one who like diagnosed that Deku had no quirk? Way back, is that the same guy? Like you didn't know who he was back then, but I think it's the same character.
Maybe.
What? I don't remember that. It's possible.
I think so. I think they don't tell you who that is, but I think he's like
so true. That might have been him, dude.
Yeah.
What if he did and he just lied to them, bro?
He gave them their like skull caliper eugenics. I think he's like, no, he's got too many joints in his pinky or something like that. Like,
no, dude, I think that you're right.
Yeah.
But he's been throughout because they showed him when Endeavor and not Endeavor, I'm sorry, All Might and All for One had their latest battle. He was behind the scenes. They showed him and stuff. Yeah. But now just to go back for a bit. Reed Destro taps out, and then basically he's like, now the what do you call it? The Liberation Army is yours now. So it's legal. The League controls like 100,000 villains now, basically.
So okay, and on top of that, and we're about to count the numbers in a second, but that guy, the doctor, he gives Shigaraki more power now. He subjects him to these experiments.
He's basically like, all right,
the
you want more
electric
power?
steroids.
Yeah, after 4 months of the electric steroids, he's going to become, like TRT Vitor. He's going to become just stronger.
Yes.
As strong as he is now, he's going to be stronger. So
Yeah.
you're going to have, let's do the math, 100,000 goons.
Yes.
The League of Villains.
Yes.
Gigantomachia.
Yes.
The Nomus.
Yes.
And now a Shigaraki that's even more powerful than what we've just seen.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good for the heroes.
No, the heroes, and again, at the end of the final season, at the end of 25, like they send 20 people over to deal with them.
Yeah, literally the last episode.
And most of them are like students.
Yeah, most of them are like 12 years old, and like
Yeah.
their powers are that they can swim and shit.
The powers are they have like a frog tongue to like ignore 20 people.
Yeah, and some of them could like use tape to swing from trees.
I think there's one girl who has like iPod jack ears or something that she
yeah,
puts in
exactly.
people.
And then one is literally invisible, but she wears those little white gloves.
Oh
so you
yeah,
can see where
I
she's
like
at
how
all
they
the
never
time.
show her. She's just always invisible.
Well, she's always naked.
She's always naked.
That's what that's about. She's always naked.
Always naked. But she has her white gloves, so you can see that she's there.
Yeah.
Again, because she wants to be known that she's there, so she
Yeah.
gets to get shot or something by the villains.
It's simple. You aim in between the white gloves.
Yeah, they're in between the white gloves.
I just like how we never see her though, because she's always invisible. This is funny.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, I suppose you could like throw paint over her or something. They'll do that joke eventually.
Yeah.
Like some old man will bleed from his nose and just fall.
But yeah, so basically before that scene where they're all getting ready for this giant battle or whatever for the next season.
Yeah.
It's basically Shigaraki, who's new Emperor Palpatine now. He's sitting on his chair. He has his main crew, which is the League, which they I think they took in the Reed Destro's in it now, and the Ice Guy, because they're the two strongest of.
Every surviving, and I think even the politicians there. Every surviving member of that is in that crew now.
In that crew now, but like the main crew, they have his generals.
He comes with lieutenants or something.
So they're all the strongest from that crew and his group. They're the lieutenants. Then you have all the strong Nomu. Then you have all the goons, and then they have their little what do you call it? The goon.
Yes.
Gigantomachia.
Yeah,
Gigantomachia. Anime doomsday.
And then in the corner is Mans Hawks, who's again.
It's not gonna go well for him.
It's not gonna go well for Mans Hawks.
You feel bad for dude, right? It's like it's like he's like imagine you're like a black guy undercover in like the KKK meeting, and they haven't noticed you yet, but like
they
you get
know.
the feeling that they're gonna know.
They're gonna know
Deep
eventually.
down, they're gonna find
And it's
out.
not gonna go well.
It's not gonna go well.
They're all gonna jump him.
As strong as he is, he's
not fast enough.
He's
They're
probably
gonna-
not even top 5 strongest in that area right there.
Yeah,
Like,
right there. Yeah.
No, he's more like a support hero.
Yeah, well, no, but like well, against that super powerful Nomu, it seemed like that, but like no, I'm sure 1-on-1 he could beat most of those people there.
His weapon is like a feather sword. Like stop.
That's true, yeah. But he's fast.
That Nomu would have killed him one-on-one.
No, 1-on-1 he's dead, yeah, for sure.
But no, but that's why he was again when he was a little smarter. He was like, no, just in case these guys miscalculate, let me bring the #1 ranked hero with me.
That's facts.
But no, okay, so he's there. We predict it's not going to go well for him.
If we had to say, predict something, it would be he gets some last bit of information out that the heroes need before they kill him.
Also, apparently, according to this little summary here on the thing, it says Shigaraki's power allegedly will surpass All for One and One for All. Which, I'm not too sure about that kid, but...
I mean, he's probably like halfway of what they were right now.
Probably,
shit,
yeah.
before his electric steroids, he's gonna get it.
Shit. They throw a party celebrating the beginning of the third term, which is kind of ominous. I mean, this show isn't like Attack on Titan, so I don't think they'll kill these people, but I mean, they should. Like, they're all about to take such a tremendous loss.
If there's a war right now, again, without those key, details with Eri and Eraserhead's son, like those are little plots where you can immediately, shift a lot of power over to one side.
Yes.
By bringing an All Might or a Lemillion back or controlling, one of the other people. But besides that, bro, it seems Shigaraki could walk into the school and just kill everybody.
Yeah.
Who's gonna stop him?
I mean, I guess theoretically, if Eraserhead stops his power, then the rest of them can stop him. But
That's true, yeah. So you have things like that. Again, it just has to be smart, a smart fighting by their part. But like, if it's just pure power and numbers, it's bad.
By the way, we should get to, and the people writing these summaries didn't even write this down. And this is important. These are the details you got to pick up. This is why you pay us the big bucks.
Yes.
Is that they mentioned in a little throwaway line that All Might is going to go talk to the hero killer.
Oh my God, Hero Killer Stain.
Yes. And
Legendary character.
Legendary character with the best ideology. I would vote for him for president.
Mm-hmm.
And the key point here is, why would he talk to him? Well, if you recall, a lot of these guys in the League of Villains and throughout the hero world, they were so attracted to his ideology that's why they even showed up to join the League of Villains, because they thought that's who Stain was down with. So,
but Stain was like, you're all losers too. I hate you.
Yes, you're all awful. You have nothing going for you. And
You're not worthy.
Stain said the only one who is worthy is All Might.
Yes.
Only he is worthy.
Yes.
So, again, we don't know, but what if All Might convinces him to speak, and Stain removing his endorsement from these people causes a split in the enemy army?
Yeah.
So that might be one way to try to even the score.
Yeah, and the new League of Villains is probably might be so meant that what if this guy Stain is like, I might join you guys just for a bit, just to again, because he's all about order and stuff. So he's like, I'll fight these people too. I hate you guys as well, but I like All Might.
Yes.
So it's possible where we see him come back and fight for the good guys, which is crazy, but you never know.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, bro. But let me give you my big prediction.
Let's hear it.
I think, personally, the heroes are so outgunned that they have no chance of winning, except if they bring back All Might.
I mean, shit. That sounds like the only way to do it.
I think they're going to have to bring back All Might. I think they've hinted at it because he's like, I feel powerless. The way they'll do this, obviously, is with Eri. We've already proven that when she does her power, you can use One for All 100%.
Yes.
She can kind of rewind time. Can they do it so that she uses her power on All Might and just briefly, however briefly, he becomes All Might 100% in his prime?
Yeah. Well, they kind of said that she literally killed her parents by touching them, by making them into babies and then just disappeared.
Making them into like little molecules.
Yeah, molecules. So essentially, if she can just control it enough where she just 10 years.
Stop when he's like 30.
Yeah, sure. Well, whatever how old he is
now. Whenever his absolute prime was.
Yeah, do that. And then obviously, we need that epic ultimate battle.
Well, here's the thing. All right, so let's say you get All Might back at 100%. Now it flips. With everything else we just mentioned, the villains have no chance of winning because this is the ultimate. This is the supreme. There's only one guy who can fight him. How do we get him back? Well, he's in jail. He's not dead. You can get him out, but he's not who he was. He doesn't even have a face anymore. Mm-hmm. You have to get Eri to heal him. But wait, she wouldn't do that.
Nope.
Oh, but what if you had someone who could copy Eri's powers?
Yes, and you just established that in the latest season.
You just established that you did. So now you bring back All for One. And you don't just bring him back, you bring him back at 100% of his power. Mm-hmm. And you can finally have, for like your big finale, All Might versus All for One, 100%.
100%. And that's going to be one of just the greatest fight of all time.
Oh, for sure. That should be like movie level stuff.
Yeah.
That should go on and just, that's it. Be the last word in Shonen Jump fights.
Yeah. And then obviously, for whatever happens, All Might has to die for the story to continue.
Well, you could, if I were them, again, I'm not them, so I don't know. You have to address the fact that All Might failed Shigaraki.
Yes.
He failed him. Like, that was his teacher, his hero, his predecessor. And
the grandson's evil because, again, no one was there for him.
He never
could have been. He didn't know about
He never bothered to check in and be like, yo, how you doing?
Yeah, that's true.
Never bothered to show up and be like, yo, I am here.
Yes.
So the other guy had to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
But now, he's going to feel bad about this. It's going to be thrown in his face.
Yes.
So what if All Might beats All for One again, but he has to have a choice to either save Shigaraki or he refuses to kill him. And then somehow either All for One or Shigaraki, because of this, kills All Might. I
mean, that would be his downfall. Like that original fight with Gran Torino pointed out. His one weakness is like, it's his mental health where, what do you call it? All for One can get into his head. And that's how he would always get him. By saying things like, dude, I took your sensei's grandson and made him evil and you kept punching him all these years.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like something he would do.
So you let that happen, B.
Oh, boy.
That's it. So, I think that might happen and I think it'll be amazing.
Another possibility. Let's say Shigaraki, his powers are already OP, he gets even more powerful. So he just plants his little hands on the floor and he decides, I'm going to kill everything.
Yes.
I'm going to kill all of Tokyo. And he succeeds.
Yeah.
Eri might not be powerful enough to stop that. But what if you had Eri or someone copying Eri's powers and then you made thousands of clones of this person?
Oh, God. Yeah, no, there's too many possibilities.
Too many possibilities.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So everyone agree, main prediction, All Might comes back and dies?
Yes.
My final prediction is pain.
By which you mean the Naruto character, yeah?
Yes, that's
he shows up in the series.
He shows up in this, yeah, obviously.
So no, for sure, and it's gonna be cool. We could probably go on. We could probably check online. Need people that actually know what happens. Again, for the final time, if you've lasted this long, congratulations. You're on your way to becoming a better person. But we still don't care what the manga says.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna read the manga ever.
No,
because why?
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 This is better.
This is way better. The anime is way better. Why would you read and look at pictures when there's moving pictures and then amazing music and the voice acting? Yeah. For what?
And that sick soundtrack, which we will play out on as soon as we go to our end credits. But I guess what? Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
It's just
season 6 gonna be a banger. That's about it.
War arc.
Oh yeah, it's a war arc.
And I'm excited. It's definitely one of the best animes, and honestly, one of the best shows. Like this, what else out there is good?
By the way, all this has happened. They haven't started their second year yet.
No,
it's been 10 months, 5 years. I've been with these guys for 5 years, and it's been 10 months. They're still in fucking 9th grade or 10th grade.
The amount of gains they made in 10 months.
Yeah.
No, you got people out here that can't lose 3 pounds in 10 months. These people are learning how to fly and loot.
Sir, no need for personal attacks.
The amount of character development in 10 months versus some people their whole life they do nothing.
This is develop. You can't develop what? If 0 gets 100% better, it's still 0.
No, you got motherfuckers that can't read by 20.
Yeah,
these guys are learning all the superpowers in 10 months.
So, it's good. We still got a lot left. I guess they're probably going to try to milk this anime for like 10 years, but if it stays at this pace, I won't even be upset about it.
I watch this for 20 years if you keep it going well.
Keep that same energy.
Probably one of the only shows where, we know certain writers in Hollywood like to subvert your expectations by making everything awful. But this guy actually subverts your expectations and makes everything better.
Yes.
So we don't know what direction he's going to take it, but it's going to be great.
Yeah, like here's how he subverted your expectations. This is a show where our main heroes and characters, they were cool this season, but the season was really about the villains, and they were cool. They went through the biggest change. They got the biggest power-ups, the biggest storylines, the biggest hero's journey, the villain's journey. And that's what made this season kind of unique, and it was good. And again, parts of it were slow, but not too bad. You go through that to experience the really good stuff at the end. And overall, would def recommend.
Leave a comment if you want us to review the new film.
Yeah. So leave a comment on other stuff you'd like us to talk about. We got some plans coming up. Obviously, we're going to review current animes. We're going to look at reviewing classic animes. We'll do a little bit of what few good Western comics there were back in the day before it was taken over by unseen forces we can't name or talk about for fear of reprisal. Please, if you like this video, the usual YouTuber thing, like and subscribe. We need to get to those 1,000 subscribers. Once we get that, we will be monetized and ready to go. And we do this for you, not for us. You, our rebel army. You will guide us through to the brighter future and we overcome all these forces making things bad. Until then, from the rest of us, it's time to end our little broadcast. People might have become aware of our location. I got a little animated and started shouting. I'm hearing commotion from the local authorities. It's time to make a quick escape.
Smoke bomb.
Till the next time.